particular section to change, then we use memo basically to perform the memoization for expensive calculations.
Okay. But let's say then what is the difference between use memo and use callback?
See, like use memo is used for memoizing, let's say, array, object, and all. Use callback is basically used to memorize the function. This is the first thing. Second thing is that use memo is like use component, okay. But use callback basically, let's say we have a parent component, we have a child component, like, okay, and let's say in the child component we are passing some function, okay. So now, and that function is called in the child component itself. So now we use callback in that one. If we want to memorize function, then we use basically use callbacks.
But why will
And
use
like that
use
function will
callback? Like we can wrap the function with use memo only, no?
see what happens now when a component render, okay. So what happens that the function, okay. So even though there's nothing being changed in the function, okay, then also the function what happens, it when the it gets rendered, a new copy of the function gets created, okay. So what happened, even if the function is not changing, okay, the component will be re-rendered again. So that is why we use callback, because in use memo, if we will use that function now, there's no use, because again it will render the whole component.
Okay,
But use callback not render the
what I am saying ki
if the function not changing.
remove use callback
Yeah.
and add use memo. Like wrap your function with use memo and add the
Okay.
dependency. Then what will happen? Like it should not render, right?
Just a minute. Sorry, could you please repeat the question? Like wrap the
I am
function in
saying
the.
instead of use callback, don't
Okay.
use callback to wrap the function, okay? Use memo only and add the dependency and wrap that function with use memo. Then also it will work the same, right?
Yeah. See, basically we use callback now. Basically because it prevents the recreation of the function references. Basically, I told this part, right?
Function references. Let's say.
See, basically use memo. Okay, just a minute. See, use memo na, it will actually prevent recalculation of values. Okay. But use callback, it will prevent the recreating of function references. Because I told na, like if let's say the function is not changing, okay, let's say some function is not changing.
Okay.
If we pass the that dependency in the use memo,
Okay.
so what will happen na? That function, when the page will be rendered, the function will recreated, okay. So there's no basically use of using use memo. Even if you use memo also, there's no use. That is why use callback. If you pass that function also in the use effect, then also it will be retriggered, because with every render a new copy of the function reference is created. But what will happen in the case of use callback, if we pass the function in the use callback, the function reference, let's say the function is not changed, so no new reference of the function will be created, hence it will prevent re-rendering if there's no change in the function.
Let's say this
So basically
function you have wrapped with use callback, okay? Now, let's say this function you have called in a use effect, okay? So now the re-rendering happened. So in this case, what will happen?
In which case use callback or sorry, use effect or use callback?
Let's say
Use callback.
yes, yeah. Let's say your function you have wrapped in a use callback hook, okay? But again, this function you are calling in a use effect, okay?
Okay.
With a empty dependency, okay? So now re-rendering happened. So in this case, what will happen with that function?
Which means function where like use, okay, so there's one use effect, in that there's empty dependency, okay.
Correct.
And there's one use callback in which the function reference is there.
Correct.
And you're asking like what will happen. Okay, so empty dependency there in the use effect. Now what will happen is it will when the component will load for the first time, the reference of the function will be created. Okay, the use effect will run. Use callback. What will happen? Okay. Use callback. We are passing function right in the use callback as a dependency. So. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
So basically, like use callback will memorize the function. So I think it will run for render for one time only. And let's say if there is some event in which the function is called, if that function is not changing, then it will run only once, I think.
Okay, are you sure?
Uh, yeah, I mean, if let's say we are not changing the function itself, so it will
Mm-hmm.
not use callback, like it will not render it again and again.
But use effect will trigger, right?
Yeah, but in use effect, like we are passing empty dependency, right?
So first time use effect will trigger, right?
Yeah, first time it will
And
trigger. Yeah.
inside the use effect, we are calling the function, correct?
Okay. Inside the use effect, we are calling the function. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So inside the use effect, we are calling the function. The function will be called function call. Just a minute. Function call.
Mm-hmm.
Function will be called to.
Mm,
Yeah, I think it is like for the first time, and it will again run, but after that it will not run if the function is not being changed.
let's say in the first time itself, function is not changing. Okay, function is not at all
Okay.
changing. It is wrapped with a
Okay.
use callback hook. Okay, but
Okay.
same function you have called in a use effect with a empty
Okay.
dependency.
Yeah.
So by your
Okay.
by like what you have said, use callback you have wrapped
Hmm.
the function, right? So now this time function reference should not be created, correct? But here
Yes.
when component will render because of use effect, so in this case I am asking what will happen, whether the function will be recreated or not.
Okay. Okay. We're calling function.
Hmm.
Okay, I got the question. Okay, let me think. Use it back function will be created. Function.
Hmm.
But in use callback, we are memorizing the function.
You can take time.
I think. Uh, I think the function. See if the let's say reference is created again.
Hmm.
Uh, scroll back. Mm, I think it will run only one time.
Mm, okay. Now let's say one more object is there. Okay, you have defined one more object above that function. Okay.
Okay.
Now re-rendering is happening. So in this case, and that object is not getting used inside your project. Okay. Like inside your rendering part in return, that object is not at all getting used. So in this case, what will happen? Like will that object will also be recreated or what will happen?
Uh, like sorry, there is one use fact. Then there is one object here.
Yes.
Uh, okay, object used here. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then what was the question?
Okay. Like inside the return, you cannot use effect, right?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. You have a object here, okay? Before this, before use
Okay.
effect.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
just enter const object equal to empty object something, anything.
Okay. Hmm.
Okay. Now you have a function below that object. enter.
Okay.
Yeah, and wrap this
Mm.
function with use callback.
Okay. Okay. Use to.
Hmm.
Okay. Function is
Okay, and this function now you have called inside a use effect.
okay. Function is called inside use effects.
Yes, and with
Okay.
a empty dependency.
Okay.
So